before I knew it, it was like, hey, AIDS kills, so and you know, it can be transmitted through sex, and so that's when he finally got there. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I love you guys so much for watching our video the last time, and I hope that you enjoyed this just as much as you enjoyed the last video. So I have Mommy Dearest here with me again. She's my co-host.
Hello everybody, we are back again to do another Ghanaian and discuss some issues, and I hope this time we'll be able to leave us with your questions so that we can answer them.
Yeah. Alright, so today we'll be making Ofam, which is a traditional Ghanaian meal. It's actually not your main meal. It's more like a dessert or a snack. Yeah, or maybe even an appetizer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like finger food. Just like this. Yeah. So it's very, very delicious. So my mom is going to walk us through how to make it, and she's going to add her little twist to it. So Mom, let's go.
Okay, so traditional Ofam, you need very ripened plantain, the very soft one, the one that you cannot fry. So you mash the plantain.
Okay. How do you mash it?
You mash it in the aposoyowa, or these days you can actually even blend it in the blender and smoothen it up.
Or a mixer.
Or you can use a hand mixer to mix it up. So after mashing it up, you get this consistency. You know, plantains oxidizes very quickly, so you know it turns brown. But that is plantain and banana. So you add, this one is pepper and onion with a bit of salt, you know, blend it together. So you add that to it.
In a Ghanaian meal, or you know the way we cook, there's nothing like measurements. You just have to gauge with your eyes. So this is just gauging with our eyes, and just sorry we don't have exact measurements.
Yes,
but, you know.
and honestly, I don't like to measure.
Yes,
you know, I'm always experimenting.
Yeah.
Traditionally, this Ofam or plantain cake is made with the palm oil, the red palm oil. But over time, I have come to understand that, you know, once you eat Ofam, your fingers become reddened with the oil. I mean, so I have added my own twist by removing the palm oil and adding the regular cooking oil. Yeah. So instead of the palm oil, I use the regular cooking oil. So I'll add a bit of it to it.
So about 2 spoonfuls. 2 spoonfuls. Yeah. I'll say it's about 2 spoonfuls.
About 2 spoonfuls. And then traditionally we use the roasted cornmeal, the what we call Tom Brown, as the binding agent or whatever. You know, the flour to bind it together to be able to bake. But I have here a flour from a grain called einkorn. You know, it's a mouthful, but it's a very healthy grain grown in France. It's grown on a farm to replenish the soil, so it's a very good source of organic grain. And so I'm using that flour, which actually looks like the Tom Brown, to thicken or bind the whatever.
The mixture.
The mixture. Yeah. Okay, so there we go.
Put your mixture into your ready greased glass bowl and pop it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes on low heat. And it's ready. You can insert your cocktail sticks in there. Add a bit of peanut butter for that extra nuttiness. Let's find out why there isn't enough variety in Ghanaian meals.
We are so set in a conservative way. As I told you, Ofam is done with red oil. The palm nut oil. What stops us from using something else that makes it easy for us to use outdoors? So for example, our caterers can, instead of always doing the Western stuff for cocktail, why can't we just serve this for cocktail? In fact, you can actually top this up with some gravy, with some fish in it, and it will be, you know,
going to have a bite. Yeah, this is so yummy, and it brings back so many memories. Like back then, And people don't often have it with peanut butter.
Yeah.
Some people just have it like that. And you can have it, it's moist enough, you can actually have it without the peanut butter. But if you just want that extra nuttiness, you should go for this.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed about Ghanaian parents, I'm talking about your era, I'm also a parent, but your era, was that you guys just didn't like talking to us about so-called taboo topics like sex or things that I felt we needed to know when we were growing up. Like even general things like even dating. I remember my dad for the longest time said a girl's friend is a girl and a guy's friend is a guy. You don't make friends with the opposite sex. He doesn't want anything about this is my boyfriend. No, you can't. That word was even forbidden. I couldn't even talk about it. And let me tell you a funny story. There was a day that my dad wanted to talk to me about sex. Okay, I was in university. That was the first time he wanted to talk to me about sex. He started from Ghana AIDS Commission. That's where the conversation started from, and eventually I knew where he was getting to, but I pretended like, oh, okay, oh, Daddy, oh, what are you talking about? He said, yes, your uncle. That time my uncle was the head of Ghana AIDS Commission, so he spoke about, oh, your uncle is the head of Ghana AIDS Commission. Before I knew it, it was like, hey, AIDS kills, so and it can be transmitted through sex, and so that's when he finally got there. I was just looking at him quietly, like, he looked so uncomfortable. And it really didn't have to be like that, but that was it. I remember him once, he actually told me that if I didn't know and I got pregnant, I wouldn't move out of the house, he would move out of the house. Like, he couldn't. Things like that. And even for my mom, I remember vividly, there was a day she was entering her room, and I asked her, Mom, did you date anyone? No, and she closed it. I was like, okay. That was even like, why? Like, there was, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of home, But then at the same time, I was so close to my mom. I was close to my mom. I was very cool with my mom. Even my dad, I was cool with him. But topics like that, no, it was a no-go area. Till I got married. When I got married, surprisingly, everything changed. Surprisingly, my uncles, everyone just felt that, oh, now we can talk about sex around you. Doesn't matter. And I'm like, where were you? And that's the other thing too, because when that happens, you also feel uncomfortable. Like, you never spoke to me about this. Why are you now talking to me about it? I don't want to hear it, So, for what was it, your upbringing? Why?
Purely by upbringing.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't, brought up that way. My mother never spoke to us about that. So how can I, teach you anything?
Okay.
It's whatever I learned in relationships, I either read or got from friends.
Yeah.
So if I had made some mistakes, it was because I had to experiment.
Yeah.
If I had succeeded, it was because I experimented and got it right.
Yeah.
But I was never taught by my mother or any elderly person for that matter.
Yeah. And your dad, I'm sure that was a no.
Hey, no way. Even my mother won't tell me about it. How about my father?
Yeah.
So it was, and I mean, obviously, in my case, my father died quite early. I was just 16 when my father passed.
Okay. So
Yeah.
things about your
Maybe my father may have, because I was very close to my father. I don't know. I'm just holding brief for him. But maybe he may have, if he had lived longer. But
yeah. But 16, mommy, at that time, if you hadn't spoken about it, then he wasn't,
But in our time, 16 wasn't the age for you to talk about anything. No. If he would tell you anything, to be about, even 18 was not regarded. It was 21. You were seen as grown at 21.
Okay.
So I remember in my home, it's at 21 that you'll be given your first kente or cloth or anything, to kind of usher you into adulthood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you had your period, like who spoke to you about it? Like how did you maneuver that?
I think it was my big sister, if I remember. It was my big sister who saw it. I didn't have a clue.
Wow.
I didn't know before. Before it
never
happened.
hit.
So I thought I was hurt. I thought something like happened to me. So I went to my big sister, who was then around, and told her, "Hey, you become a woman." That's what she said. And she actually went and told my mother that this is what happened. And then all that he did was to show me how to take care of myself. But he didn't tell me the implications of the bodily changes that I'm supposed to expect. Nothing like that happened.
And you didn't learn that in school either.
we learned that in school later
Okay.
on. I've forgotten which class, but we learned that in school. You know, we learned about puberty and all those things.
But do you remember how old you were when you had yours?
When I had my period, I had
Yeah.
my period when I was about 14. If I had hit
Oh,
my
wow.
14, yes, I think I had about 14.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, because I remember you told me that back then it
even
came later.
Even that time, you know,
Yours was early.
Yes, mine was early.
Okay.
Because people were having it 15, 16.
Oh,
then,
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yes.
I wonder is it a diet or what?
It's a diet. You know, apparently the nutrition, these GMOs that we are eating. Because you see, when we're growing up, these I mean the eggs of today were like, you know, Obroni eggs. I mean,
Which
like,
is the white ones. The brown
no,
ones.
these brown eggs. Because the eggs, the natural eggs were white.
Were white.
From the natural, you know, I should say natural organic chickens. I mean that we had in our homes.
And you guys, seriously, I didn't know eggs were supposed to be white. It was brown eggs I saw all my life.
In fact, I never knew you didn't even know
No.
until recently when you saw white eggs. Mommy, what are you doing in the house? And I'm like,
I hated
why?
I hated white eggs. I thought white eggs were for like fetish priests. And you know, you see that
No,
those things.
but-
I just hated white
So
eggs.
I told you that the eggs are naturally white.
White.
I mean, the chickens that we had, the natural, until this GMO stuff came.
Yeah.
Chickens, you know, were breeding
White eggs.
You know, laying white eggs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's
So I mean, for me, I remember that for my period, for example, I also didn't really know much about it till I got it, and I don't know if it's also because I also only had brothers. I had a few female friends, but I don't remember if they had theirs before mine. I don't remember, but I remember when it happened. I told you, and then you said the same thing that you said your sister told you. It's so funny because you told me, "Hey, you become a woman,"
Yeah.
and you know, things like that. And I was like, oh, I got very excited. So that's when I went to school, and I told my friends, and I think maybe one or two said, "Oh, they had theirs as well." So then we started to talk about it, and then you know, then it came with the other things like cramps and all those things, and that's when. But sex, even after that, sex was still not something that was spoken about. That
yeah,
hey,
we're very uncomfortable. To talk
yeah,
about
like
it.
now that you've had your period, if you have sex, you can get pregnant. It wasn't. I still didn't know. I think it was in school, maybe GSS 2. I don't remember how old I was when I had my period. Maybe I was like 10, 11 or no, I can't be. That was too early. Maybe 12.
I think we were
It was around 12,
yes.
12 or 13. I think 12. That's when they were discussed. But you know, things like that, even in school, when they are discussing like sex, it was that kind of topic that everyone is giggling. Like,
Yes.
hey, was this? Like, it was
Yeah.
so. It's so strange that now people are opening up more about it. I actually really appreciate it, but back then it just I don't know, and you just have to figure it out, and I don't know. So do you look back and regrets, or do you feel like, oh, maybe you should have discussed, or do you feel no, it's fine because you know how do you
No, you see, coming from my era, I have no regrets because that's all I know. I mean,
Okay.
that's all I know. I mean, my parents did not teach me, so what is there that I've you know that I missed that I should regret about? You see,
Okay.
So I don't have any regrets about that. On my part, I sometimes feel that maybe I could have done better
Yeah.
with you in
Yeah.
terms of my children.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, it's the way I was brought up.
Yeah.
And even though I should say I'm more educated than my parents, so I should have known better. You know, socialization does a lot of things to us. So the way you are brought up, it influences a lot of the things that you do.
Yeah.
So honestly, regrets, no, I don't have any regrets at all. Yes. But I am happy for you, you know, you in terms of your generation,
Yeah.
that you are more open, that you are more, you know, exploratory, so you get to know things more. And I also think it's because of your,
Like we have more exposure.
you have more exposure, and you know, it's more because of the internet.
Yeah, it's
You know,
true. That's
a
actually
friend of
very
mine
true.
calls me Mr. Google. Mr. Google will tell you everything.
Everything. It's true.
So
That's actually-
you easily have access to
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
But in our time, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think that there are certain mistakes that you made that could have been corrected if you had been told?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't think that all that we did, you know, were good. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are things that we could have done better.
Yeah.
Yes. But you know, in the circumstance, I mean,
Yeah.
there isn't much we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. great. So I mean, for me, what I have taken from this, because I've learned a lot about my mom. I'm actually learning a lot about her upbringing through this, and I know a lot more people will be able to understand their parents better now, because they will know that, okay, you know what, they are probably products of, I wouldn't say misinformation, but no information.
No information.
So it's like they were figuring it out, and then now they brought that on to their kids as well. But fortunately, we have more access, like she's saying, you know, to the internet and all that, and we can read more. And some of us are still making mistakes. I mean, it's normal, but then we don't know everything. But at the same time, it's good to probably pass it on to our kids as well, you know. So I think this was a very insightful interview. I mean, not interview, episode.
But one thing you guys should also be careful. You are also being bombarded by a lot of information.
That's true.
Even though we were deprived, you are getting information overload. So you should also be careful the way you use the
like we really have to sift through it.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's just so much information.
It's quite overwhelming.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. But if you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. We will answer them. And if you have any suggestions as well, we are open to that. We have so many more topics to discuss, guys. So please stay with us. Subscribe, hit the like button, and also make sure that you click the bell up there for notifications so that you can always get notified when our video comes out. We love you all. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.